everyone's saying he is not far enough off third base. If he had a better primary lead, he scores. That's a mistake. That's a huge, huge error. So let me back it up here for a second. What do you want to know first, Brad? Should we talk about what you do with bases loaded? Should we talk about that one first?
Yes.
Bases loaded. 1 out in this situation, correct? So 1 out, bases juiced. You cannot get doubled off by any means. And when you're on the base paths, you're going to shorten up your lead. Go around and look at the rest of the bases here. Guy on second base, he can get further off because of where Mookie's at short. But then look at Kirk at first base. He is right on the bag. Why? You cannot get doubled off. I want to repeat that. You cannot get doubled off by any means. So what they tell you with the bases loaded, even for the guy on third, you got to have more of a flat-footed lead. You got to be a little bit more careful. That means when the ball's hit, we got to make sure it's down or you are freezing. So IKF shortens up. So that's where he is. Now the debate can be, do you think you can get a little bit further? Because the rule or food for thought is the runner on third can go as far as he thinks he can go, but still being able to beat the third baseman back to the base. But that's up to the comfortability of the runner, right? Like how good do you feel when a moment hits where you don't have the urge to go forward like IKF or whoever it is at third base? I'm going to stand up now. But imagine that, right? Ball gets smacked. What's your urgency? What happens? You want to move forward, right? Even if you freeze, you have that urge.
Yeah.
So if you mess up for a hair of a second, do you believe you can get back? So that's number one. Okay. Number two, the Blue Jays. Zach, what happened in Game 6? How did Game 6 end?
Got doubled up.
Barger was on second base, second and third. So the winning run was on second?
Winning run was at the plate, I believe.
Oh, sorry. Winning run was at the plate. My bad. I'm way off.
Yeah, tying runs at second.
Tying run was on second base. My bad. Barger was
makes it more important. You got to score from second to tie the game to keep it going.
Correct. And 1 out.
Yeah.
Okay. Barger was trying to get the best jump possible off second base. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, different circumstance, but it's important to understand why the Blue Jays were more conservative. There is a blooper, it almost felt like, that could have dropped in left field, and the crowd's going nuts. Place is about to explode, and Barger then thinks it's going to drop, and he wants to score, so he gets off too far. But Kike Hernandez runs in, catches it, throws it to second. Barger can't get back, even though he read it. He was like, oh, crap, I got to get back. I'm too far off. He gets doubled off, and the game's over. And the Blue Jays don't get a second opportunity, who forever was on deck to get the chance to tie this game. So why am I mentioning that? In Game 7, I guarantee you third base coach is saying, we want 2 cracks at this. This ball better be down, and then you go. And you're going to bust your ass to get home and see what happens. And if you play out the clip here, he does that. He's busting his ass. Yeah, Rojas falls. There's nothing there that IKF did besides you can say, oh, it was the primary lead. Couldn't have been a little bit further. Sure. But again, it's a comfortability and understanding what just happened in the last 24 hours that the Blue Jays lost a game because they were over-aggressive. And if you're watching this, at what point did IKF slow up? Not one. And then I see, you know what I started to hear for the first time in forever? That people are asking why the hell didn't he slide into, or why did he slide into home plate?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too.
Like, I've had people questioning me on that of he should have run through the base, right through home plate. I go, it's not like running through first base. Yeah. You know what you're taught growing up, Zach? What were you taught?
Slide into home. You only base you run through is first.
Otherwise, you're going to break an ankle.
So the reason why you always slid going into home base was safety.
Yeah.
Yep.
Safety, because back then you couldn't control what the catcher was going to do. Sometimes of how it's even how it's there. Sometimes the bat can be left around there. Something can go wrong.
Well, your cleat's going to slip on that plate.
Or you can get stuck because it's a different base than the other three. So the only time you run straight through home plate of what you were taught, and maybe this gets changed now, maybe they try to change it differently, but in this case, the only time you're running hard through home plate, no play at the plate, or you're tagging up, again, no play, and you're busting your ass to get home plate. That's it. That is the only time you do it. But when people are saying, why is he sliding? That's what he was taught. That's what any player has done for however long they played baseball. So I hate that. I hate that they're saying, well, if he just didn't slide, he would have been safe. Well, yeah. Okay, well, let's just change how the game's been taught then for all the years. And by the way, Will Smith, if Rojas doesn't fall down for a second, or Will Smith doesn't pick his leg up, then we're not even having this conversation is because he lifted his leg for a half a second or an inch or whatever you want to consider it. I hate that people are giving this guy death threats. I hate that people are going to say of all the moments in the World Series, this is who you want to blame for a situation. Now, I went on Instagram and explained a contact play because when people are saying, well, you got to be aggressive. Okay, you want to talk about being aggressive? There's a thing called a contact play. And a contact play typically isn't with the bases loaded, but it can be with the bases loaded. And here, let me explain this. I got to stand up because now I'm getting fired up. A contact play is the aggressive call where it's, if you want to take a guess of what the contact play is, Zach or Brad, you want to, what
go
it
on
means?
contact.
You go on.
Second ball's put in play, you're off.
You go. No matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So line drive, ball in the air, you're still going. Now, if you have enough time to get back on a fly ball, you go back. But line drive, you're cooked. Like, that's a gamble. So, because the point is, you're going to be doing your third base lead. You do a walking lead from third base, by the way. Walking lead, you're more forward facing. You're not sideways and shuffling. No, you're forward facing, walking into it. And as soon as the batter swings, you are running.
Hauling ass.
That's what you're doing. That's your goal. So if you put a contact play on in this situation, you are gambling that the ball is going to be on the ground or it's going to be a base hit somewhere. Like that's the gamble. And if I'm the Blue Jays after what happened last night, why would you put that on? Because you know what? You had the next hitter up was Ernie Clement, who had the most hits in the postseason history, that was a foot away from ending it because he had a good swing on the ball. He was arguably their best hitter.
Yeah.
Hottest hitter. So it's the contact play. If you think the Blue Jays should have been aggressive or not, that's up to you. But in my case with that, they just didn't score the run. But it's not because they didn't do anything. If you want to argue primaries, that's fine. But the game plan of what they did, I don't think that is a fair argument. I mean, I'm not the only one. I mean, Zach, Justin Turner on that, you have the tweet, right, from Turner? And Turner was talking about this. Justin Turner has been around for a very long time. Mm-hmm. Was a former Dodger, by the way, and it was a great player. Can we pull that tweet up real quick, Zach?
Yep. Get that one out here.
Hey.
There it is.
So right there, Justin Turner says it was the fourth pitch of the at-bat, talking about with IKF on third base. He's standing right in front of the Jays dugout, and don't you think if they thought his lead wasn't what they wanted it to be, they would have said something?
Yeah.
I've told guys to get bigger leads from the dugout hundreds of times. And it's so easy to sit here when the game's over and it's like, armchair quarterback on Mondays, right? Where you're sitting there going, well, this is how it should have been executed. These are some of the top players. And if you're going to argue a primary lead could have been bigger, okay, sure. But everything else that was designed, there was nothing there that was out of the ordinary.
No.
And
this also isn't even a discussion if Rojas makes an incredible short hop pick and then everything and stumbles. If he doesn't stumble, if he just picks it and throws it and he's out by 4 feet, no one even considers this.
Right.
It was then the circumstance of, people are going to argue like, oh, you get the secondary lead, you get a bigger one, so they have to be perfect and stuff. Well, if he just fields it and gets it out, it's become, for some reason that's been the focus. The Blue Jays couldn't drive in guys for 7 games, it felt like.